Alright, hey everyone. Hey Bryce, how you doing? Pretty well. I haven't drawn in forever though. I mean, I've not drawn in forever. I haven't streamed in forever. Mostly just doing regular videos. I'll probably try to finish this one up on today's stream. I'll see how long I stream for. It's kind of weird, but streaming and drawing kind of have a bit of a endurance game to them, and just kind of builds up over time. And right now, my endurance is not that high for either of them. Are you drawing to right now? Drawing. That's sick. Thank you, man. Don't know where it's heading, but you're drawing too. Yeah, I haven't drawn as much lately. I'm more like sporadic, and I'll just kind of do it in bursts. Like this one was across. This one was like only a day, but I probably used to draw too much. But it kind of comes in waves. Sometimes I'll draw a lot one month, and then other times it's more sporadic. I never feel like I really lose much of the ability to draw, or I don't feel like I get worse when I take breaks either. It just kind of feels a little rusty, and then kind of just like slowly gets back to where you're at before. And one thing I noticed is it's more of like a comfort thing, or kind of like confidence is the biggest thing I've noticed. Like after, I still draw every day. It's just not the same amount of time and hours, and even that's kind of like noticeable. But now I've kind of like just after drawing a little bit more and more, and kind of build up the confidence. I don't really know how to explain the confidence either, other than like I go to make a line or I'm gonna draw an arm or something, and I guess like it's just like a feeling that you know exactly how the arm is gonna go. Where I guess the rusty part would be I don't really know like what's gonna happen if I go to draw arm kind of thing, even though I feel like the outcome's still gonna be the same. You draw all day long lately. I always think to myself when I finish a drawing, like, wow, this guy can sure draw. But yeah, I know that feeling. You're like, don't really don't really recognize your own drawings. Sometimes I'll finish a drawing and wonder why the heck I drew a certain character. I mean, I kind of wondered that on all the characters I do. Don't really know why I choose like specific things. It just kind of ends up happening. Still a lot of things I left white. Gotta go in color. I was gonna wait to color it the other day until and record it, but then kind of just sat at my desk doodling on it. And then when I started doing that, I was also just gonna do like a few flats. Like I had like this urge to go in and tiger or color all the tigers orange. And then after I did that, then I went and colored the rest of the armor. I kind of couldn't resist going in further, but really wanted to save that part for a video. Do you imagine your drawing or you just go with the flow? I don't really think about it too much. I'll think about like subjects sometimes. Like, before I did this character, I wanted to do like a bird. But then after that, like how their armor and all their clothes and different things just kind of happens. Just kind of however it ends up. I just kind of roll with that. I kind of do that way too to keep things very open, and that kind of just helps throughout the drawing to kind of like give leeway if certain things like start taking a different turn, then I kind of have like some things left open. I was thinking how to make this character kind of unique. Give him some bird wings. Try to get some wash in here while it's still fresh. From where mostly do you get this imagination memory library? Um, I don't really know where it comes from exactly, other than like a kind of like a collection of everything that I've seen. But like a lot of it's probably come from movies or games, cartoons, those kind of things. Comes from a lot of like the other hobbies that I do. And then kind of when I go to draw, I'm basically just playing around with my own version of those sorts of things. I remember when I was a kid, I would play a bunch of games, like video games, and then when uh, when I stopped playing, I would go to draw and kind of like try to draw out different things that were in the game. And I don't know, I feel like that kind of helped a little bit. Not that I would probably go and do that on purpose, but it's just kind of like um, trying to emulate, I guess, what the game was doing on paper. So what's the tiger story? I have no idea. I'm really not sure still if they're fighting each other or if they're all on the same team. I think I'm leaning towards um, this one is maybe getting in an argument with these other ones. Maybe one of them said something that the other ones didn't like. Drawing on some kind of seam is weird. It's like weird. Really, just kind of a weird experience. I always have to deal with it in my sketchbooks. Which like really not that bad. It just kind of gets a little bit frustrating. Some scenarios where like doing a character's face across it, or yeah, just like some characters, especially if it's a smaller character. I notice sometimes it gets a little bit hard to draw the split with the seam messing up the lines. I get I do it often too. I don't really think about storyline beforehand, just explain through visuals. Yeah, I really don't think much at all when I'm drawing. I kind of try not to think much. Try to make it really as natural as possible. Yeah, for me, really, the visual part is my favorite aspect of drawing. I feel like if I really wanted to do a story, I'd probably just write one instead. Not really saying that drawing can't tell stories. It's just for like me personally, um, I like writing, and it's kind of like the part of writing I like. But for me, for drawing, I kind of draw like specifically for the visual part. And a lot of times I don't even know what I'm drawing. It's just kind of like random stuff that just kind of comes up. It's hidden somewhere in the brain. You like how manly the art is? Well, like, what do you mean? What's manly about it? Yeah, I wish I would have drawn in school, but I kind of, I don't know why. Um, I drew like before kindergarten a lot, and then I started school and just kind of didn't draw. I really didn't draw until after high school, which is pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really know if I would like it. I feel like I was always kind of like decent at it, and I wanted to Kind of do things that I wasn't as great at to kind of see and kind of just explore different things. Your art is very reminiscent of a girl's art style, so I get mistaken a lot online. Hence the sir. Yeah, I think that's fine, man. I don't really see like specific or things tied to gender that much. I've kind of just seen it go so many ways that I don't know. I don't really think it's too tied to gender. That's crazy. You changed your or put your name for that though. Your trons are 90% girls. I mean, I'm sure there's girls that draw like 90% male characters out there. I don't know how this tiger's gonna turn out. Yeah, I think the drawing very openly makes a lot of my characters have like different expressions and different looks on their faces, which is kind of I don't know. It just kind of happens, but I've noticed like every character kind of has a different what's like their a little bit diverse, mostly from just kind of how things end up. And it really doesn't take that much to make them look a lot different, like a slightly longer nose, or kind of like how animals would have different genetics. What's your favorite animal to draw, or just general favorite? Um, Favorite animal to draw. I think like pure drawing, maybe. I can't think of animals off the top of my head. I'd say either a rabbit or a tiger. I mean, I have a pet rabbit. It's kind of mostly why I draw rabbits. Um, and tigers used to be my mom's favorite animal. It's kind of why I draw them. But yeah, I don't know. Tigers are fun because of the stripes, and I kind of like that. Each tiger has a like almost a signature for different stripes. Trying to think though. Yeah, probably those, but I don't really draw too many different animals. Like I've drawn deer a few times, but I don't really like drawing deer. I don't really like drawing horses too much, but um, they make a lot of like soldier warrior type characters look a lot cooler and more interesting, I think. So I like that drawing horses as like some kind of support character for those types, but I'd say just drawing for fun, probably tigers. I like that they're orange because then when I go to color, can kind of just slap orange down on them, and it splits up like characters from each other. Where a lot of other animals, it gets a little weird for coloring. Like rabbits can be a lot of different shades. Birds come in like a rainbow of different colors, and tigers are kind of like a white tiger or an orange tiger. And I also try to add a lot of black onto the characters, which can be a little bit hard for me to find some natural subjects that are dark like that. Sometimes I'll do penguins just because they have dark values on them. Horses are crazy strong in stories. Your mom is cool. I currently have slight scoliosis due to the shrimp pose when drawing. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to like not hunch over when drawing, especially at a desk. I'm like always trying to readjust myself and like, okay, I need to try to keep my back straight, or like just sitting in general. I used to always hunch a lot in school too. I've tried. I used to draw a lot on like a paper on my wall, and that kind of helps because then you don't have to hunch over. But then my legs and shoulder and different parts start hurting, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Can I draw a fish? Maybe. I always try to find a good time to get the tiger stripes in. I feel like if I do it too early, they look a little weird, and if I wait too late, then it kind of stops the flow. You lay on your bed, but your legs are too long for it. Yeah, I've tried. Yeah, I've tried drawing in my bed too, and it's very weird. And then I start to like lean on my shoulder, and then then my shoulder starts to hurt. Yeah, lay on the floor. Were you always good at drawing? I don't know. I mean, it took me a long time to get to this point. I feel like it's always come kind of easy. Both my parents are artists, so it's kind of like I was introduced pretty young to art. I think that maybe makes it a little bit easier to progress. But I've also drawn probably way too much in the last couple of years. For a couple months, pretty much all I did was draw from like when I woke up to when I would go to bed. Now, lately I've been a little more sporadic, but I'll probably slowly work up some kind of endurance again for it. I'd really like to try to like force myself to draw for a certain amount of time, because I've tried that before, and for like a month I basically tried to keep drawing like more and more each day and just like try to go for as much time as possible, and that leads to or led me to burn out pretty quick. So now I kind of just like draw more so when I feel like it or it's kind of exciting, and I think that's really the best for the drawings and kind of how well it turns out. If I'm really not interested in the drawing or if I'm tired or something, then I'll just kind of draw random stuff that might just make me like irritated or different things. So I think really getting some balance. You have bad drawings often, but still try to progress even though it wrecks the mood. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's really like a bad drawing. I think it's just like different stages, and it gets kind of like um I don't know, like as time goes on, you just kind of get a little more comfortable with like working in the space, or like getting some more comfortable with like the mind connection to your hand. I think that's really all it is. Cause I mean, I could be really nitpicky about my drawings and say some are really bad and other ones are good. But I kind of stopped thinking in that way since a lot of the drawings that I thought were really good, I look back in like a couple days or weeks later, and then I don't think they're that great anymore. And I still do that, and now like I'll do a drawing that I am really happy with, and I look back at the same drawing a couple weeks or a couple days later, and then all of a sudden it's no longer a good drawing, or I could do a better one. So I kind of just stopped thinking whether one drawing is good or one is bad, and kind of like that sort of thing. I kind of just like it's like a progression, and each drawing is just kind of like a step. I also don't really draw for the final drawing either. It's just kind of like having fun with the process. And once I'm done with the drawing, it kind of, in a way, dies. It sounds kind of bad, but yeah, once I finish the drawing, it kind of like is gone in a way. Like I can't go back and like live inside that drawing anymore because it's like it's already kind of its time has passed. Pum, pum, pum. Kind of the opposite. I feel like my drawings look better looking back a few days after than right after finishing. Really. um, the thing is, if I don't draw for one day, I'm gonna be drawing the whole night. Not gonna stop the grind now. Yeah, I always feel like when I'm drawing, I'm kind of like there's like always multiple options, I guess, with each character. Like how I do like the shoulder pads or different things on one character. It's like kind of sifting through multiple options in my head, and then just picking one, and whichever one I pick is kind of like then playing out how it happens from that choice. And then if I didn't like the outcome or something, then I'll just always can just make a new character with a different shoulder pads that might be better than the last one. So it's just kind of like, I guess if I'm unhappy with a character, then I kind of just make another character right behind or like in a different spot. That's really what I'm doing on the page is drawing one character, taking things I like or didn't like. So it's kind of like always evolving, I guess, to something that I like a little bit more each time. Yeah, mistakes are I make are things I fix in my future drawings. Yeah, exactly. Last month I was doing a lot of painting, digital painting. I feel like I learned a few things that I've kind of brought into drawing now, which is kind of cool. I really like that. It doesn't really matter which art medium you do. There's always like a lot of crossovers that can be used for multiple things. That's kind of like how it is for a lot of things too. There's always some way to bring in and mix match different skills, different things. Especially when I was doing a lot of digital painting, I noticed that like for shadows, you really don't need much detail in the where there's a lot of shadows. So when I do like the washes now, I like don't mind having a lot of the lines washed out. It actually helps, and then it puts all the focus on the lighter areas. Hey, what's up? Put a tiger next to this guy. I probably would have drawn in my sketchbook for today's stream, but the acrylic marker is really heavy in the sketchbook paper, and it really makes the page bend around. And it's kind of annoying trying to make lines when the every time you go to press down, the whole page is like bumping on you. It almost feels like trying to draw in a car when everything's moving on you. Your art style is so cool. It's got that indie comic vibe. Yeah, it is kind of morphing into um something like that. You've been window shopping for a future pen display. I'd like to get, and there's quite a bit of options I like. What do you mean by a pen display? Don't understand why people always ask, how do you draw so good? I can't draw like you at all. I tell them to practice, they don't, and then they say they don't know what to practice. Yeah, I mean, like getting good at anything kind of just comes down to doing that thing. I don't know. It's kind of also hard to know what to do if you haven't done it yet. I think everyone kind of comes around to figuring out their way of doing it. I mean, you could tell someone advice for something that you went through, and that person may just not even know how to use that advice since they haven't been in a situation to where it made sense, I guess. Man, this tiger is gonna look pretty gnarly. Oh, okay, you're talking about a drawing monitor. Yeah, I got the the Wacom Cintiq a few years ago, and that thing kind of just sits in my room collecting dust, sadly. But I used to use it quite a bit, and then I started drawing on paper, and haven't done much digital since. But I actually started doing a lot of drawing on digital, and then kind of worked into traditional, which is a little backwards. Most people kind of go from traditional, I think, to digital. Um, but yeah, looking back now, I probably would have gotten. Well, I have an iPad too, and I like drawing on the iPad more since you can get Procreate on it. But the Cintiq is like, I don't know. I just like there's like a feeling that I didn't like with it. If I was gonna get something for to draw on PC, I'd probably get one of the ones that don't have the screen, like the I don't even know what it's called, but but I think I would probably get one of those. I got my mom one, and I tried it like for a little bit, and it actually felt like a lot like paper in a way, like more like traditional drawing. And I thought it would suck not having the screen to look at, but it felt kind of natural, and I could probably get used to it. But yeah, but if you're like a big digital artist, then I think you'd probably like the screens. Yo, thank you, Malone. Ever since one of your videos popped up on my recommended a few months ago, you've inspired me to start drawing again. After quitting like 6 years ago. Dang, dude, thank you. I really appreciate the A88, dude. That's cool that I can inspire you. I especially want a monitor for when I finally commit to my webcomic and ultimately you're gunning for Clip Studio too, like the idea of unlimited layers. And they have unlimited layers on Clip Studio. I didn't know that. Yeah, I think the tablets are really good for like digital art and doing comics and that sort of thing. Because when I put my book together of all my sketches that are traditional, it was like actually a pain to photograph everything because I had to get like a everything set up and lights and hang a camera from a ceiling, and it's just a lot of work to just take the photos themselves. And then after that, it took like a few days of like non-stop editing the photos and color correcting them so that they look a lot closer to just what it looks in the on the actual one. So yeah, digital definitely has a huge advantage with like reproduction and makes it way easier to just take your art and put it into a book and you don't lose any quality or like yeah, a webtoon or comic. We have a Moleskine sketchbook that I'm starting, but I'm trying to fill it with only good art, and it's low-key hard. Hmm. Yeah, it is kind of, yeah, Nelson's kind of right. It's a little, it's a lot of pressure to have that mindset. I kind of found, like when I was trying to draw as much as possible, I found that the more lenient I was, and kind of like if I didn't care that I was gonna do a drawing that was pretty bad ahead of time and was okay with doing bad drawings, I actually drew a lot more, and it just kind of made filling out sketchbooks easier. Yeah, and the drawings that you think are good now, you're probably gonna look back at them later and probably think that you could do it a lot better. Sometimes I wonder a lot why I put so much like um, emphasis on trying to make a good drawing, or I would sit down and um, kind of be like, wow, this is gonna be my craziest drawing yet, and then I go and do it, and then it put so much time into like making sure the proportions and anatomies are all right in perspective, and then I look back at it like a couple months later and realized I was off on like everything, but still put so much like brain power into trying to make it perfect. Why be sad when you drink coffee? It gives you all the energy you needed. Yeah, I actually started drinking coffee again. I haven't had it in probably like a year or two, but just started drinking it again like last month. And I don't know. I kind of don't like waking up in the morning and feeling like I need coffee to survive that day. But after drinking it in the morning, everything's fine. Keep forgetting not to pressure yourself. Yeah, it's definitely hard to do. I think it just kind of takes a bit of time and build up. Just kind of drawing over and over again, and I think it'll be a lot easier to slowly remove a lot of that kind of expectation. You let out an audible gasp when you said that. Matter of fact, after I grab some more juice real quick, I'm gonna try to draw too while watching this. Yeah, man, go for it. Oh shoot. I'll see if I can fit a sword coming across over here. It's kind of weird, but whenever I draw katanas, I kind of prefer drawing them straight, which usually the ones uh, samurai used were curved unless they were um, like the straight katana's like a policeman kind of version, which is kind of funny that I draw it on samurai. But even though I think the main thing that's like the most recognized about the katana is that it's curved. Ink seems to be your favorite medium. Could you say why? I don't know. I just like the feel mostly, and being able to like use water with it, and the water interacts with it. I think is my favorite part about it. I'd probably use pencil over ink or like charcoal and pencil if they weren't so messy. And like I don't like the graphite chalky feel of this, but I like that ink is relatively smooth and it has like a little bit of an unpredictability, especially like the ink washes kind of going over with the over the acrylic marker ink with the water. It kind of makes all these like random water splashes. I think it's kind of satisfying and cool. Yeah, I don't know what kind of sword that is. It's literally Googled straight edge samurai sword, and that's what popped up. Yeah, that might be the one that they use. Did they use that in for battles, or is that the police one? No, I'm thinking of. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Yeah, I really like using Crayon markers because the blue wash that it makes, but they do dry out pretty quick. They're kind of weird because they last a long time, but dry out like temporary really quick after having the cap off. It was used for battle, but was later just used for rituals, I guess. Oh, I didn't know that. I should look that up actually. You're thinking about accuracy when it's furries fighting with swords wearing samurai gear. And yeah, I know it's gonna. I don't know why why I'm like that. Okay, yeah, yeah, the Ninjato is what ninjas use, but it's a straight katana too. Yeah, I remember the ninja katana since it has a square guard. Yeah, those are pretty cool. They're really have a lot shorter of a blade too. We'll see how this arm turns out. It's kind of in no man's land out here. Always try to like slowly bridge pieces of the character. It's almost like a magnet that I want to slowly attach over here. you, you know all this because of Ninja Turtles and haven't watched it in years. Yeah, I remember I used to be so excited for I think Sunday or Saturday. Well, one of the weekend cartoons that have Ninja Turtles playing. But I remember very vividly that before Ninja Turtles was the big comfy couch, and my sister loved that show, but I didn't like that show at all. And I would just wait for that show to end so that I could watch freaking Ninja Turtles. I swear the big comfy couch episodes were like an hour or two, and then Ninja Turtles was only like 30 minutes. I always felt so bad waiting for that to come on. Big comfy couch menu. Yeah, I can't even tell you the amount of hours I've probably watched Big Comfy Couch, and not on purpose though. But that's just kind of how shows were. You had to watch whatever whatever was on. Do you watch any of Kim Jong Il's streams or Super any live drawings? I used to a lot, but it's been a long time. Like three, I can't. It's probably been like 3 years since I watched those videos. But I also kind of like watched all of them and ran out of things to watch. But nowadays I kind of haven't looked that much for artists. Yeah, I've probably watched almost every Kim Jong Il video that's or like a lot of the streams. I didn't watch like a lot of all of the really long wall drawing ones. Like the thing, one of them that I think took him like a couple weeks. I didn't watch those, but a lot of like the single page drawings or all the time lapse and different things. I was kind of on a big Kim Jong Il kick and just would binge everything on the channel. Which version of Teenage Mutant Turtles did you grow up with? I have no idea actually. There's a lot of different versions, right? I don't know. I think it definitely would have been like a one of the early 2000s ones. It's good. I need to watch all of their videos. Yeah. I didn't watch any of the lesson ones either. I mostly just watched the ones where he's drawing. I kind of didn't care too much about the lessons. I just wanted to watch him draw, honestly, and just kind of like learn that way. I'm much more of like a watch someone do something and then try to do it myself and learn that way. Then someone tells me a way to do something. Like I'm definitely more of a hands-on learner, but like kind of like visual and then trying it out on my own and then kind of going back and forth until I get something working. Nelson, what do you mean about that you that you have the two couches? I'm a visual learner also. I asked my crush to show. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I always thought I was more hands or more of a visual learner, but I worked in a factory for a while and quickly realized that I can't just watch someone do something and know what I'm doing. I have to like really try what they're doing and see if it works for me, and if it doesn't, I have to really try to find my own way, which is the same for drawing. I'm always experimenting with each little piece on the character. Oh, you have you have like you have the actual like a life-size couch of the big comfy couch, or is it like a figurine? Does your house just have like the whole set of the movie in a room? That's funny. Dude, I was actually so scared every time they had the dust bunnies. And I think there's like a few episodes where she's does she vacuum and like the dust bunnies are scared they're gonna get vacuumed up? Oh, okay, they're they were kid size. I don't even know they made like um merch for that show. Do I read any manga or comic books? I don't really. I haven't read much for books. In middle school, I read all or most of the Claymore series, the manga. Um, and I read the Bone series, the comic, and I read all of the Bone series and as much as I could of Claymore, because some of the books were still coming out. So I never finished Claymore, but I heard it gets really good. I can't think of much other than the Bone series and Claymore though. I'm surprised I never got into comics that much. I feel like it's really hard to for me to kind of get into them nowadays. I mostly like movies a lot more for like the visual. Oh shoot, forgot stripes. Bone is great. Yeah, that was like probably probably one of the first books I got really into. I think I read Bone in like first grade. I remember just going to the school library and checking out the Bone books. I remember one of the times I went to the library to search for I think it was the second book and I went there and it like I went and read the first book and then the next day I went to get the second book and it was gone. And I had just been there the day before and I was like, no, someone took the book and I had to wait like a whole week or two for that book to come back. But I wasn't that mad because I knew that someone else was reading the series too. I thought that was pretty cool. Or they didn't read it and they just the thing just sat in their backpack. I have one of the later like extra little spin-off book that came out quite a bit later. I have it somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I got one of the Bone books. This one came out pretty late, I think. I think this was like a pre-sequel. Yeah, I think it's like a pre-sequel or like one guy's telling a story of like the past. I thought that was pretty cool. That's the only one I have, and then my dad has like the bigger complete collection one. You imagine reading? Awesome, the Bone comic still holds up today. Yeah, that I should actually go back and read some of that. I remember when I first started reading it, I was um, like this book is kind of boring, or like I didn't really know what to expect. Though I'm like the characters are kind of weird. They're like they're literally like these bone characters. I thought that was kind of weird. And then I remember the first book, you get like halfway through, and then it starts to like really take off. And then I was really addicted and pretty much couldn't stop reading it. Yeah, I really like the dragons and that kind of whole thing. And the like enemies are really good in that. The series also feels like really mysterious. Like you don't really know what's like in that world and what could happen. Like you could flip the page and like literally anything could happen on the next page. whenever I draw in streams, I kind of once I'm drawing and talking, I kind of don't even realize that I'm even drawing. Just kind of snap back and be like, oh, this is where I'm at on the drawing. For streaming art, I think drawing while talking is probably the hardest thing there. Or at least like the hardest thing to get used to. When I first started my channel though, I think the thing I worried about the most was probably uh like posting my art and wondering what people would think about it. But after posting so many, that kind of has gone away, and then it just becomes like really natural. You sing you sing while you draw? Mr. Colander. Sarah, do you play any of the Dark Souls or Souls-like games? I tried Elden Ring with my sister, and um, I did like when we first played, I didn't couldn't kill the first boss, and then I don't know, I don't really like the repetitiveness of trying the bosses over and over. I kind of like a lot of the loot grindy kind of games like Diablo, Path of Exile, and or like Borderlands, and like those kinds of games is usually what I play. I played a few like I played Overwatch and some other competitive games as well. But yeah, the Souls games never really I don't know, it's just not my thing, I guess. I see why people like them a lot though. I do really like the art in all of them. I'm a little obsessed with your style. I'd like to practice something similar soon. Yeah, I don't don't really know what my style is, but just kind of put things down on the page, I guess. One thing that I did that was kind of fun though was for like a month or like 3 months, I didn't look at any arts or anything, but just kind of like doodled in my sketchbook. And I kind of just wanted to like explore things on my own and kind of like figure out without any outside source some things that I could kind of explore and I don't know, just find out different ways to draw really. And I think out of all the things I've done, that's probably helped me the most for just kind of like figuring out what I really like about drawing and kind of like my interests and kind of like discovering which mediums I like, different techniques, and I don't know, kind of just like trying everything out on my own. and kind of shutting out the outside world for a couple months. And all I did literally every day was just sit down and on the couch and just drew in a sketchbook. And that was pretty fun. Do you think drawing helps the brain think more creatively? I'm not sure really. That's kind of a hard question. Mm. I guess it kind of like depends. If you mean like if more creative versus doing other things, or like usually, I'm not sure. I feel like I might be more creative when I'm not drawing. Or like, I don't know. It is like it's like weird because there's some things in drawing. Like I feel like I'm pretty creative a lot of times when I'm just thinking about ideas in my head, and not drawing. I'd say maybe then I'm like the more creative. But then when I'm drawing, it's kind of like different things that you would be more creative on. Like for me, the creativity when I'm drawing is probably like designing things. But then when I'm thinking in my head and not drawing, I probably think of more outrageous ideas and different things like that. So I don't know. It probably really depends on the day. It's funny how in your videos you just say and figure it out along the way when others say just draw but make you think about everything you do. And your methods work. I guess even the approach is subjective though, because I can't go with the flow, but I can't be ultra focused either. Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah, I wouldn't say I like 100. I like go with the flow, but it's not like so extreme that my stuff turns out very abstract, because that would probably be like the maximum of going with the flow kind of idea. But because sometimes I like kind of think, like you said, kind of like more thinking about what you're doing, like every once in a while if I'm doing something that I don't normally or not so comfortable with. Like the armor I'm very comfortable with, and the katana and different things, so I don't think about those when I'm drawing. Or like the tiger, I don't think about much, but things I'm like not so comfortable with or like very new, like the bird, I had to think a little bit more. And then like the this kind of pseudo musket that I put on this character down here, like for some things that are less comfortable with, I think a lot more. But yeah, so I think like you're probably in a good spot where you're in between the two. I think that's really probably where you would want to be, some kind of balance between the two. Can I call you Bryce or Colin or BK? Whenever you want, man. I'm not picky. Um, who are my favorite artists? I haven't looked at artists in a long time, but I'd say like inspiration. You guess Kim Jong Il is his favorite. Yeah, Kim Jong Il is definitely up there. I wouldn't say he's like my absolute. I don't really know if I have a absolute favorite, but I think for like mm, for artists, they um like a large impact on my stuff, but I feel like um the greatest impacts probably a lot of like things that I grew up with, like different games and like cartoons and different things like that have probably had like the biggest overall impact on my art. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought artists in a while. Some of the artists I like is like um the Claymore manga artist. I really like a lot of his stuff. Mm, Mobius, Katsu Terada. Mm. I mean, there's kind of like a common theme with a lot of the artists that I like. And when I was first learning, what I really wanted to do was draw from imagination. So a lot of the artists that I liked at that time were like artists that were mostly drawing from imagination. So um, if you kind of looked into that kind of genre, probably most of the artists in there are ones that I liked. And I kind of liked a lot of those artists because I that's kind of like the route that I wanted to take. I wonder why Japan's the country everyone loves. I don't know. I like a lot of their stuff because it's like very intricate and it's kind of like a art form on a lot of their traditions, and they put a lot of time and effort into a lot of the different things. Like, I mean, just making katanas or bows. Um, it's like an art form, kind of. I'm not sure how to describe it either, but from this one alone, it almost reminds me of Jean Grun or some 80s 90s anime, but it's for sure its own style. I love it though. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of like really all the artists that I looked at, mostly just trying to figure out how to draw from imagination and kind of like pick up on some things that they did and kind of to make it easier or get like a head start. And then really everything after that has kind of just been like trying things out and seeing what works because I mean a lot of the stuff that the artists that I like, a lot of the stuff that they do, I just like can't do, or the way that they do it just doesn't vibe with me, I guess, or it doesn't work out, or it's harder for me to understand. And then like kind of just like take those things, take the things that work for me, and then also ways that I can improve those things. Then I do that, and then like it's been so long since I've kind of like grabbed a lot of useful things from different artists, and then for the last like couple of years, it's been a lot of personal like trying things and trying to go past that because I found really like once you kind of like take a lot of things from other artists that make drawing easier or more fun for what you're trying to achieve, it kind of reaches a point where you've almost like drained how much you can take, and then after that it really becomes like a self exploration and a lot of trying to then improve off of what you have. if you were someone in the olden days, your art would definitely be in a museum. Mm, Creature, haven't heard of that artist before, I don't think. He did work for some of the older video games. I might have seen his art. I probably recognize it, but I haven't seen specifically which ones he did. Um, yeah, maybe someday I'll do some fan art of Claire from Claymore. That would actually be pretty fun. I think if I was gonna pick Claymore characters though, I don't think I would pick Claire. I'm sorry, man. I really like Isley in Claymore and Teresa. Those are my two favorite characters. That'd be a weird that'd be a really weird collab. But yeah, I'd probably draw Isley and Teresa. Which I mean, yeah. Alright, let me make this tiger orange. Is that the real Mr. Clean though? I didn't know that he liked Claymore. Yo, Mr. Clean. I know, that's what I was thinking. Mr. Clean is a weeb like us for real. It's funny. Yeah, I remember I grew up a lot on anime, um, since my dad was like always always kind of into that. So I kind of grew up on it. And then in night school, growing up, like nobody watched anime, and that was really weird. Um, but yeah, they would always think it's weird. And then like now anime is like really popular, but it took like all the way until I think I was in like senior year, and then all my friends were like coming to me and like telling me about all these animes they're watching. I mean, around like when Attack on Titan came out, I think that's when like it became like more mainstream, and then everyone was watching anime. Mm. But I remember if you told someone you watched anime, they'd be like, "What is anime?" Mm. And then there's like really no way of describing it other than like it's like Japanese cartoons. Charles did work for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro that I know about. This also reminds me of a less cartoony version of his stuff. Yeah, I've probably definitely seen his stuff. I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot when I was a kid, but I always got stuck on um I can't remember which Crash Bandicoot it is, but it's the one with like all the portals and you can go to different levels. It might have been like a version where it had multiple of the Crash Bandicoot. I can remember, but I played that one a lot. And then, well, played it up until I got stuck on certain levels. And then I eventually, like, literally couldn't progress anymore in the game. It's funny because I was just talking about, I talked about that a little. while ago with my dad, and we were talking about how old games, like, you pretty much played it until you got to a point where you couldn't play it anymore. Like you literally couldn't pass the level, and or like you couldn't find like some games you couldn't find where to go, and you get lost. And then but like games nowadays, they're like very it's very hard to get lost. Like you'll usually find your way. Plus, you can just Google something when you get lost or stuck. It's kind of funny how ruthless games used to be. No one gets free magic erasers. I feel like my biggest struggle with doing tigers is always figuring out where I want the white parts of him. I find that I like to kind of just go on what feels right for the white areas, because sometimes I'll just try like normal normal tiger markings, and then sometimes it just doesn't look right for like the specific tiger or drawing. So I'll kind of like change it up. People were watching King of the Hill, yeah, they thought anime was weird. Yeah, I could never get into King of the Hill. It was on like all the time, but I just never thought it was like that entertaining. But I know a lot of people do like that show. Japan treats King of the Hill like we treat anime. They really? They even argue over seven. That's crazy. I didn't know about that. That's funny. Mhm. Yeah, aren't they? They're still making new episodes of King of the Hill, aren't they? I swear I saw something that like the new season of it was coming out. I've always been more into um like Family Guy, South Park. Um yeah, mostly those. Robot Chicken. Yeah, I think I always preferred like Simpsons over King of the Hill. I think they were on around the same time. I used to hate seeing it come on because that meant cartoons were over. But I started watching it recently, and it's a hell of a show. Yeah, I think like now it would probably be funny. But yeah, I think yeah, when I was a kid, I thought the same thing. No, the cartoons were over. Go wait all the way until tomorrow to watch cartoons. They're reviving it with a new season. Okay, so it did end. end for a while. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they just like continuously just kept pumping out episodes or if they just came out with a new one. Yeah, they've been doing that with the anime too. I haven't seen the new Bleach. I haven't watched the old one either that far, but they made the new season of Bleach. Um, hey Bryce, let's say you're in a hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball. What would you learn? Or what would you try to learn? Now, hmm. I guess if I was gonna try to learn something now, hmm, that's a hard question actually. I feel like if you asked me that like 4 years ago, I probably would have said to get to get good at drawing. I have a little bit of a different perspective on that. Yeah, I guess my first thought probably would have been like to try to figure out what what about drawing makes me happy. But then that's also kind of a weird thing to try to figure out because then I'm thinking about what what about drawing makes me happy when I could probably just draw. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I would want to learn. Honestly, I'd probably just draw the whole time that I was in the chamber. Oh, you gotta go, Nelson. Happy creating people. Yeah, Mancia, thanks for stopping by the stream, hanging out. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah, I guess it really depends on how long I'd be in the chamber for though, because it would be pretty cool to just like learn as much as I could. Maybe about like a lot of different things. Honestly, if like the if the chamber lasted a long time, I'd probably learn a lot of different. I'd probably learn like 3D modeling, then go into animation and just maybe like explore a lot of those things. But I don't know. That's kind of. I'd probably just do what I'm doing now, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of things that I could do, but it would probably always. I feel like no matter what thing I would like go and try to learn, I feel like I kind of like um drawing in the way that I do now, and I kind of would just rather play it out at normal speed and see where it goes. I feel like it's a pretty similar question to like if you were gonna stop time, what would you do while time is frozen? For that, if time was frozen, I'd probably go and make as many cool drawings as I could in that time, and then I don't know, and then just share with people once unfroze time. One year in hyperbolic time chamber is 1 day in real life time. Okay, so it'd be like, hmm, yeah. Honestly, I'd probably just draw and then just learn from whatever drawings. Just then I could, I don't know. Then you just kind of get a little bit further faster. Because I mean, like the thing that makes me the most progress for art, I think, is just like experience and so really just drawing more or like really time. I think like if I was gonna use the chamber, the time would be the biggest thing because I feel like drawing more is not always the best thing to do because you could get burnt out. But since the chamber you have a lot of time, then like drawing for a whole year, you could get a lot done in that year. Realistically, I would just sit in there and go insane. But maybe I would try to get fit or better at drawing. Yeah, that might be the move. I think I would probably go insane too, being in there alone, because I think out of like, I think the one thing that does suck about drawing is that it's a solo kind of sport, and it does get really lonely drawing. But and I mean, I'm also a type of person that likes kind of being alone, but being alone too much, I think it's never a good thing. And being alone in a chamber for a whole year might definitely make you go a little crazy. One thing I've always thought about is like I've kind of like played out like some scenario. Like sometimes I'll just kind of play scenarios out of my head, and one of them is if you got really good at art, or like it doesn't really matter how good you get at art. If there's like no one to share the art with or show anyone, then I don't know. It's just like a it doesn't really like make sense um in a way. It's like yeah, you still get to see it for yourself, but I don't know. For me, like sharing my art is kind of a big reason that I do it, I guess. I don't really like I don't really try to get better at art for like bragging rights or like to be like, wow, look how good my art is, like that sort of thing. It's more so trying to get good at art to show people that it's kind of like possible, and then kind of like bring, I don't know, to show people that it's kind of like and then show someone else how to get there or like get past there. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but only two people can go into the chamber. So I train with one of my friends. Oh, I didn't know you could bring someone with. Does Goku bring someone with, or is he by himself the whole time? I haven't seen that episode in forever. That part is like exactly where I left off on Dragon Ball though. It's right where he finishes training in there. for the first time. I don't know if he goes back there later, but oh, he goes with Gohan. Alright, I'll see. Now you guys got me wanting to draw a dragon. I also feel like the drawing maybe could use some green over here. Lately, I've been getting into a lot of Age of Empires. I've been kind of playing it non-stop the last couple days. I've been mostly playing Age of Empires 3 since that's like the one that I grew up on, and they came out with a remastered, like updated version. It's been a couple years since they came out with that now, but I just got it a few days ago, and that's been actually a ton of fun. I tried Age of Empires 4, but it's got like a weird feel to it. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, especially since I really like a lot of like historical warrior looking, that sort of thing. You're trying to draw one from imagination too right now? Dragon? The thing is, you would still age in the time chamber like normal. What? So you you would just come out of the chamber old? You gotta go see you next time. All right, yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah, dragons are always, I always find them like a little bit tricky. They almost have too many options to kind of go about it. That's the wrong marker. I think I got a new marker and then was using the old one, thinking it was the new one. Yeah, I feel like there's always so many options for each of the dragon parts. I watched a video a couple months ago on like explaining the different dragons from like China and Japan and different things, and I didn't know that the Chinese dragon, the face was supposed to be like a camel. That was kind of surprising, but it makes a lot of sense. It's like a bunch of different creatures all put together. Yeah, growing up, dragons were always my favorite like creature. If dragons could be your favorite animal, then that would definitely be mine. Basically, stayed in the hyperbolic chamber with an art friend for 10 days. You would both have 10 years of drawing experience, but come back 10 years older at the same time. Okay, yeah. Dude, I don't know. That'd be. I don't think I would do it, honestly. But I don't know. It's tricky. Like, if someone came up and asked me, hey, you want to go in this time chamber? Then I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, why not? I'll try something new. But I think I'd probably regret it a lot since it was 10 years. But I guess you would probably have everything you would need to survive in there, so it could be like a 10-year vacation. I feel like I would get pretty bored in there, just like not being able to go anywhere, and you'd be stuck in like a room for so long. All right, this is a little bit of a different spot that I probably usually put a character. I don't think I've ever put a character on this side. Oh, I forgot to mention. I'm drawing on a folder. It's kind of different, but yeah, my parents were gonna throw away a bunch of these folders that are kind of like a paper that's a little bit stiffer. So I was like, you know what, I'll take those and draw something on them. I thought it was kind of cool to have something um just have something that kind of wraps around. And I kind of wanted to draw on the front and back, but I think it bleeds a little too much to be able to do that. But yeah. I also have some pretty thick cardboard that I might try drawing on too. I don't know if the marker will show up on it, but it's just kind of fun to try some different things I normally wouldn't draw on. Change it up from just drawing on regular white paper. I mean, for the last couple years, I've pretty much only been drawing on um, either Bristol paper or watercolor paper. Now how the dragon swoop around this backbone. Yeah, this drawing's probably gonna take me a couple days to finish. Well, maybe, I think I'll only take like one more day, actually. I was thinking it would take a couple days, and then I looked and pretty much almost have everything done. I'll give this dragon some fashion. In my fashion, some like maybe gold bracelets coming around him. I try to just put little materials or kind of like layers of detail so that when I go to color, it looks a little bit more three-dimensional and a little less flat. I used to think that doing scales were a little bit tedious, but it's kind of relaxing to just go around adding scales everywhere. And sometimes the little details like that can kind of add a lot once it's throughout the whole character. So a little repetitive, but once it's all said and done, I think the effect that it gives is definitely worth it. And then I can kind of alternate between a little bit of scaled area and then transition into some areas that don't have scales. Kind of like the bottom belly of the dragon. Same with the tiger parts being orange. Kind of like how usually on your arm there's like more hair on the top part. Kind of that same idea. A lot of times now whenever I'm drawing, I'm really thinking about when I'm going into the color phase too. So some things look a little weird or overcrowded when I'm doing drawing phase with the marker, and then kind of the rest of it takes effect, especially when I get into the color. I draw kind of a little bit differently if I know that it's just gonna be black and white. Then I go for like a little bit more clarity since since I'm coloring, I don't have to worry too much about if there's clarity since the color will kind of do a lot of that work, or like I'll do a lot of that work when I get to the color phase, and I can be it's almost like more beneficial for me to be even more busy with details and different things when I'm drawing everything out, and then when because I like to have like a lot of separation between different things. Like I went pretty simple on these characters, but having like the strap is a different piece, and then like the different beads or the the swords and everything, like each little piece of detail, I can put it as a different color. So then when I go to color, I have like a lot more variety of pieces on the character, and I like that. It makes it look a lot more detailed for the each of the characters. Like adding little things like this little like green headband, the scar, and just like as many features as I can think of on the characters. And then when I go to color, it makes the character look a little bit more three-dimensional because they have all these different pieces of equipment sitting on them, and there's a lot of color variety, things like that. I used to not like color in any of my drawings until I tried alcohol markers, because before that, like I was trying to think of ways to color things, because like I knew color pencil worked, and I knew watercolor was is pretty common for coloring, but I didn't really like how either of those. Like, I like the water effect of ink washes, but I didn't like the mix-in with watercolor. All right. Get some shading in here. Plus, having a lot of the details kind of helps when I'm doing a wash like this, when the ink is water-based, and then I have more ink to basically help with getting the tone on there. The more ink that's on there, the darker the wash will be. And sometimes if there's not enough line, like if I did a very large character, like this one, but I didn't have the scales, it'd be really hard to pull the shade out from the lower part of the character upward. It would get pretty light. It's kind of why the tigers are pretty nice for this, because they have a lot of darkness with all the stripes. I'll just try to keep some sort of alternating between these lighter areas and then the shadow area. Alright, I think I'm probably gonna end the stream about here. I think it's been almost 2 hours, so yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for making this stream a lot of fun and hanging out today. So yeah, see you guys next time I stream, or if you guys watch my videos. I've been doing a lot of like 30-minute or so drawings where it's like very similar to the live streams, but like just short 30 minutes. So yeah, catch you guys next time.